I was preparing for my little girl to go to school. So after she has taken a bath and everything, and I escorted her to school, I came back prepared and go to work. So when I went to the bathhouse, I was about to pour the water on me, and I realized my two legs were stiff, and my two hands also were very stiff. I can't move them. So I called my wife to come and assist me. That's why I realized that it's a stroke. So I called her to at least call some few guys around. They arranged a car. They took me inside. Straight, I went to Mana first. And Mana was not able to solve it, so he asked me to come to Kolobu. So when I came here, they gave us a few medications and some drips for me for the listen to come down, or the BP to come down. When I came here, I realized that it was a BP that is causing it. Yes. My BP was very high. That caused the stroke.
In a matter of 24 hours, the life of this 42-year-old man, we will call Michael, has taken a drastic turn. He's unable to fully move the left part of his body after suffering a stroke, and it is hard to tell if he will ever be able to do all the things he used to. He, however, says that things are slowly getting better.
I'm okay. Quite better, yes. As compared to yesterday, now I can move my legs, I can move my two hands. I can do certain things I was not able to do in the morning yesterday, and now I can do it myself. Even with that assistance, I can even move and then walk. And now I can talk. First, yesterday I wasn't talking, my talking was not coming. My talking was like, I can see myself talking, but I don't hear myself talking.
When blood supply to a part of your brain is interrupted or ruptured, preventing brain tissue from getting oxygen and nutrients, in a matter of seconds, 32,000 brain cells die, and the functions controlled by that area of your brain, such as speech or muscle movement, are impaired or lost. That is what happens when one suffers a stroke. A neurosurgeon at the UGMC, Dr. Totime, explains how low levels of activity among Ghanaians, especially those below the age of 50, is a factor.
The thing is that we're spending a lot of time in chairs. You know, you wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast, you go and sit in a car, sit in traffic, go to work, sit in the office, finish, get back into a car, sit in traffic, go home, sit in front of the TV. So we're running a theme of very sedentary people compared to what our forebears used to do. And because of that, nothing has changed about our bodies. The muscles still need the amount of exercise that they needed, 30 years ago as now. So if we're not doing enough of that movement, the body does not change to fit us.
Dr. Kojon Kroma, a neurologist and head of the stroke unit of the Kolobu Teaching Hospital, outlines the warning signs of a stroke, an acronym he calls FAST.
F-A-S-T, which basically means that, F is for face. If you are with somebody and all of a sudden they have a facial deviation to one side, the mouth is twisted to one side, all right? That's the face, recognizing that there's a problem with the face, the facial symmetry. Or all of a sudden they have weakness, all right? If you tell them, for example, raise your arms like that and one is going down, or they're doing that and one is stable, is only one that is going. Usually this will be subtle weakness on that side, especially when it's happening suddenly, all right? And then speech for the S. If there, for any reason, there are problems with speech, sudden onsets, difficulty with producing words or the speech is slurred, all right? These are symptoms that are suggestive of a stroke. So you need to get them to hospital very quickly.
A recent study by the Stroke Investigative Research and Educational Network suggests that sub-Saharan Africa has the highest burden of stroke worldwide, with age-standardized stroke incidence rates of up to 316 per 100,000 persons. Stroke in our settings is characterized by a younger age of onset with poor long-term outcomes. Stroke among young adults has devastating consequences because of the longer-lasting impact of stroke-related disabilities on the quality of life and the stress it places on a patient's family.
When stroke happens in relatively younger age group, they tend to lose a lot more productive years of their lives. And not just them, because 30 plus, they are married, they have children, they are contributing to the family, society, So when they have that, apart from they suffering those negative consequences, it also spreads out to the larger community and the families. So that is why stroke in our part is a bigger challenge.
Given that stroke in sub-Saharan Africa imposes a heavy economic toll by affecting a relatively younger age group, it is necessary to stem the rising tide of stroke by identifying the risk factors among this productive section of our population. Dr. Kojo Nkrumah opines that underlying problems like hypertension, cholesterol, and diabetes predisposes young people to the risk of getting a stroke.
The major driving forces, as I'm talking about, hypertension, cholesterol-related problem, diabetes, but especially hypertension. And I've given you the statistic 4 hours average, where almost 9 out of 10 had hypertension, all right? And that also presents a window of opportunity for modifying or preventing strokes in the young people, because we have a lot of data to show that when hypertension is controlled, it reduces significantly your risk of having stroke.
However, all is not lost because stroke is highly preventable. Doctors advise that from 25 years on up, you need to get periodic checkups to ensure that your blood pressure is stable and you have no underlying conditions.
It's important to just move, because once you move, your body knows that you need the blood vessels to keep transmitting blood, and your muscles will take it up, and then your brain, gains in the long run. So as long as we can move. So the thing is, like I've said, the theme of sitting, we should look at our lives, ask yourself, how much sitting am I doing? The more sitting you're doing, the more trouble you're in.
Our friend Michael agrees with Dr. Toteme and now advises fellow young men and women to check their health regularly.
I will advise them they should go to hospital for screening and checkup. When they go, if they're able to know their medication status, the doctors are there to assist him or her. They should not go into this kind of situation. But it's very bad. Even doctors are very good. By now, I'll be paralyzed totally. I can't do anything at all. But thanks to the doctors, they helped me a lot. But now, there are certain things yesterday I wasn't able to do, but now I'm doing it.
Be warned, however, that unscrupulous people have managed to infiltrate the system and are cashing in on people's fear of getting a stroke. Dr. Nkrumah says the brain, as a powerful organ, reacts to this misinformation, and it can make it seem as though the person has indeed suffered a stroke. He wants these persons who claim to have the cure for stroke and are declaring them on radio and television stopped before they cause serious damage.
Maintain a healthy lifestyle, a bit of exercise, some good diet. These basically should ensure that you are doing well, okay? And not fall into the trap of being diagnosed that your perfusion or your blood flow to some part of your brain is cut by 45%. So in the next 2 days, if you are not drinking some things, you are not doing some things, you're going to have stroke. I've seen patients who have actually mimicked the symptoms of stroke because of this fear. The brain is quite a very interesting place to be. And depending on what you feed it, it can give you what you want it to be. So there are people who would have walked in, with a limp in a wheelchair thinking that they have stroke because they've been told that, the blood flow to part of their brains have been cut by 70%. You understand that? So obviously they think that they have stroke.
It seems like the consequences for getting stroke in your youth is very dire. That is why there are preventive measures like living an active lifestyle, reducing your stress, and checking your BP. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Inu Safo.